It's interesting because I feel like this past year, obviously with like the phenomenon of like Marie Kondo and all that stuff, I'm sure it's been good for business for you.
Great.
But there's also just, I think, been such a heightened awareness for us on the financial end, because we do talk a lot about, it's easy to think of money in a vacuum, but ultimately money is just, in many cases, especially on the spending end, it's just a culmination of your decision making, what you deem important, what you're collecting, what you're, not spending. Like, it's all sort of a collection of decisions. And I think a lot of people tend to think of things like their home as very distinct from their money, but they're very much one and the same.
100%.
So what are some of the like fundamental kind of rules that you give people for picking out what deserves space in their home and how to use it?
Yeah. My first kind of big fundamental rule whenever I start working with a client is figuring out what's serving them and what's not serving them.
Right.
Like starting with the Great Purge. And I kind of like sit with my clients and go through literally item by item by item. And it's figuring out if things are serving them physically. Like, do you use this actual physical item? Do you use that table? Do you use that sweater? Is it physically serving you? But also, can things serve you emotionally? People have emotional connections to a teddy bear, to a china set that their grandmother gave them. Like there's different ways for things to serve you. And it's going through and figuring out what is still serving you and what isn't serving you, and figuring out how to let go of those things that are literally just taking up space, that a lot of times people don't even realize are kind of just sitting there taking up space. Like if you have a set of skis from a trip that you went on 5 years ago and you like really want to go skiing again one time, but you have to like, that you've never gone skiing since then and you're probably not going to go skiing again. And being a New Yorker, that like chunk in the closet that it's taking up, that you're like, oh, I hope I'm going to go skiing again. And like, you just have to have that conversation and like be realistic about what you use in your life. Are those skis like really serving you, or is it like strictly aspirational, which is like fine. But you have to have like that real conversation with what serves purpose and what is just taking up space and collecting dust. So once we've gone through that, and that can take a lot of time. Some people can make like snap decisions, and New Yorkers are actually better about making the snap decisions. Like, yes, I need this. No, that can go. And I work with a lot of people in Wisconsin and some people in New Jersey, that really are like, well, when my grandmother passed, I inherited this. And it's like, okay, let's talk about it, girl. Let's talk it out. I am here for you.
You're like a therapist a little bit.
100%. Like, yes, it's a real thing, because people have very real emotional connections to inanimate objects. That is a very real thing. There's a reason why people are hoarders.
Right.
That's a very deep, which I don't normally work with hoarders, because that's a very real psychological issue.
Right.
That I'm just not.
It's not it's above your pay grade.
100%.
Yeah.
100% above my pay grade. I'm not equipped to like genuinely help those people in the way that they need to be helped. Sometimes landlords need to be involved, like family needs to be involved, police sometimes, like it's like a whole big thing.
Right.
So if that comes up, I would kind of pass it along I would say, here's some more resources for you that are better equipped to handle it. But the more average person, it's more of just a conversation of like, going through things. Sorry, go ahead.
No, it's good. I imagine people must cry a lot.
I haven't not come across criers. I've definitely, I've heard a lot of like, there's a lot of sad stories that come up because those emotional attachments are real. And helping people through that process of the letting go, like it's not just letting go of the thing, it's letting go of that part of your life. And I kind of help people through the process of realizing that just because you let go of the thing doesn't mean that isn't still in your heart.
Right.
Like.
Yeah, I find that we talk a lot at TFD about the idea of spending with the intention of becoming a different person, of being a different person. You know, you're the sort of person who X. And I think in a lot of ways, and this has happened to me, I'm sure it's happened to everyone, when you are throwing away a certain thing or getting rid of a certain thing, you're kind of admitting to yourself that you're not that person. That you can't hold that mental image of yourself, whether it's the person who's like always maybe going on their next ski trip, even though it's been 5 winters, or like I have a pair of tap shoes in my closet that I'm like, I went to like 2 tap dance classes and then like they're collecting dust. But part of me is like, I want to hold on to the possibility that I could always still be that person. And I think one thing that's important to remember about buying things is that if you really are going to do something and you want to do something, you're going to find a way to get started with or without that big object.
100%.
You're going to find a way.
Right.
And so wait to buy the object until you're already doing the thing.
Right.